Hi, we're Diamond and Silk, and we love the Naked Truth Report.
Warning, the following program has been rated T for truth.
You can't handle the truth!
Oh, we think you can. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report with your host, truth warrior and mythbuster Kathleen Wells. The place where we distinguish fact from fiction, where data is used to drive points home, and where Kathleen takes the position that Democrats and black politicians have destroyed black America. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. Now, your host, Kathleen Wells.
Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. I'm your host, Kathleen Wells. And let's go over some, I'm going to say what? Homework, but it's not homework. It's housekeeping. Yes. Let's go over that right now. Go to my website. Yes. thenakedtruthreport.com. And you can sign up because I have a blog. I have a new blog post there. Go to thenakedtruthreport.com blog, sign in. There's a knob that says log in. And you go to log in, it's on the right side. You log in and you put in the email address, and then you'll be notified as to when I post new blog posts. And also leave a comment and get engaged with what I'm discussing. Someone has already left a comment, and get engaged. This is another way to get involved and get engaged. And as I said, I'll have a newsletter coming, but right now I'm doing blog posts. The newsletter should be soon, so that's a good thing. The other thing I want to mention, and don't forget to subscribe to my Rumble channel, and you can see my channel from my website. Yes, I'd appreciate it. Let's see, what else? Michael Young, war correspondent. He'd like me to meet him at the border in Texas. I want to go, but you guys know I don't have any money. Why don't I have any money is because my tenant hasn't paid in 21 months. He's still sitting in the space smoking weed every day, not paying rent. Can you imagine? So I did apply for the program. I applied. It's the Emergency Renters Assistance Program, and I applied the first day, March 30th, and then August 30th, they told me, now we ran out of money in the city, so now you have to apply for the state program, and the state program is called Help Housing is Key. And so they told me late August. So the first day to apply for that was September 2nd, right? So I applied September 2nd, and I'm still waiting. And the woman in the city program told me, the people in the who applied for the city program to be reimbursed, recompense for their rent that they didn't receive, we're supposed to be getting 100%. I hear some people have gotten that. We are supposed to be given priority. Those landlords who didn't get and you don't even need your tenant to apply anymore. The rules keep changing. Everything changes. That's the problem. Just like with COVID and the rules and the information that we've been given about the virus, the China virus, everything has changed. In fact, I heard recently a report that said only 20% of the American people have gotten boosters. And therefore, they're concerned that there will be another wave. You see? You see how they're changing? You see how they're tricking us? This is about power and control. In fact, I was listening to a report. This guy, his name is Jimmy Dore. I think it is D-O-R-E, Dory. Jimmy Dore. He does a show. And he was playing audio of when, when Joanne Reed was indicating that since the vaccination was conducted under Operation Warp Speed and such a fast pace, so quickly, and under Trump. No, I don't trust the vaccine. I'm not going to take it. There's no way. And the same thing with Kamala Harris and several other people on the left. No, since this vaccination, we know it's not a vaccination. We know it's gene therapy. Since this vaccination was created so fast under Operation Warp Speed, I'm not going to take it. No way. I don't trust it. Kamala Harris. I don't trust anything that Trump does, blah, blah, blah. And now it's the same it's the same gene therapy. And now it's like the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated, the same gene therapy, and Biden is pushing the American people like nobody's business. And in fact, he's going to come out and start penalizing businesses and fining them I think, $14,000 and $100 and something thousand. The deputy press secretary, what is her name? Jean Pierre. What's her name? Karina Pierre. I don't. Her first name's Karina or Corinne, and she looks like she's Haitian to me, Haitian American. Let me tell you something about these first generation Americans. They don't know what's going on. I don't know. I mean, they don't know as much is going on as the people who've been here for years and observed things for years, right? So how can Joy Reid have any input? I don't know. So what I was going to say is you go to my website and sign up. Oh, and I was going to mention why I don't have any money. If you guys want to contribute, so I'm still waiting. Presumably I've been approved for the program. I was told that with one of the women with the city program said, "Oh, you'll get priority with the state program, the Housing is Key program." Well, I applied September 2nd, and we're now into November. You see, so I don't know when that money is going to come. If that money comes, yes, I would spend it to go meet Michael down at the border and do interviews with the sheriff down there and who else? The Border Patrol folks and also some of the migrants, the illegal aliens. They're not migrants, they're illegal aliens. I would conduct interviews and I would take pictures also. So I would have all the pictures and maybe even video because Michael has video of what's going down and I would place it on my website. So if you want to donate, and this is what Michael said, oh, your listeners like you, they're great, they're engaged with you. They would love to donate to have you go down to Texas and bring the border and bring them back some more information. They would love it. I said, listen, I've asked my listeners. I love my listeners. You guys know I love you guys, but I don't think you guys have money. So maybe you do, or maybe you don't think about it, or maybe I don't ask enough. But if you want to donate for me to go down to the Texas border, yeah, you can do it on my website. That's one thing. But this is another thing I want to say. Michael, and join Michael, subscribe to Michael's locals platform because he talks about things that are very important. And one of the things that he knows, he's in the know, as I said. He has the 411. He has the skinny as to what's really going on. And one of the things that he has been informing me about is that China has been informing their citizens. In fact, the Epoch Times, Michael is down at the border now with the Epoch Times. Josh Phillips, I think his name is, and also Tom Tiffany, one of the congressmen. Epoch Times has also reported on this, that China has been informing their citizens to stock up on food. And Michael has been informing me also that there's going to be a problem. There's going to be, you know how it's pandemic, famine, and war. We're in an information war, yes. But the reason why I brought that up is it's important that you take care of yourself and your family first before donating to my website so I can go join Michael at the border. That's more important. Taking care of yourself and taking care of your family is more important than donating to my excursion down to the border. So those who are in a position that's not precarious or fragile financially, if you feel so generous to donate so I can go down on the border and get some interviews, that would be fantastic because I don't know when my money is coming in from the state. I've been waiting since March. And no one cares. So that's that. Subscribe to the Rumble channel. Engage with my blog posts. Someone has already left a comment. Leave a comment. I want it to be interactive. I like that for people to be involved and engage. And I read all your emails and I read all your comments so I can get a feel for what is going on. Okay, so what do I want to title the show? I either want to I have two titles in mind. Either change/shift your paradigm, and that's something Michael and I talk about, shifting your paradigm. A lot of folks call into the Washington Journal and they say, I don't understand. I can't understand why Trump supporters blah, 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 X, Y, and Z, right? Well, they don't understand. I don't understand why this, why X, Y, and Z, why, the guy, what's the senator's name in West Virginia? I can't remember it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Or why Kristen Sinema is doing this, that, and the other. Manchin, yeah. I don't understand why they're doing that. I don't why I understand. This is what folks calling into Washington Journal. I don't understand why Trump supporters feel like, or this is something they say, why they don't believe. In fact, why they had Schlapp on the Washington Journal. I think his first name is Matthew Schlapp. He's the chairman of CPAC. He was talking about why why Trump supporters, a large percentage of Trump supporters, in fact, Chuck Todd was just talking about it on Meet the Press driving in, that I think 70-some% of Trump supporters or Republicans believe that there was shenanigans, that the election of 2020 was stolen. Yes. And so Democrats will come, I don't understand. Well, they need to shift their paradigm. If you don't understand something, or if you're surprised by something, if you don't understand why there are black folks that vote that are getting off the Democratic Party, you need to shift your paradigm. So that's one title, shift your paradigm. And then the other title is A Fraud on the American People. A fraud has been perpetrated or committed on the American people. And that pertains to what? That pertains to Durham, this indictment against Igor Danchenko. Is that how you pronounce it? Danchenko. This indictment for lying with the FBI, 5 charges. He was arrested on Wednesday or Thursday, and he was indicted for lying. This is the important issue. I think this is one of the major issues that is facing the American people, because everything else sort of emanates out of this big lie. Okay, and this is the big lie. The Russian collusion business is the big lie, not the fact that the election was stolen. Let me tell you, folks, if they lied to the American people about Russian collusion, about what was going down there, that the Clinton campaign was intimately involved, was paying for it. Her entire team was paying for this stuff. For 4 years, they drugged the American people through this hogwash, which was a lie. That was the big lie. If they would do that, they would steal the 2020 election. Why? Because these folks, these deep state folks, these establishment folks, these globalist elitists, these DC insiders did not want an outsider coming in. Why? Because the inside is corrupt. You see? All of DC is corrupt. It's all a game that they're playing on the American people. It's all a fraud that they're perpetrating on the American people. It's no good. None of it's true, and the media is in on it. They're part of the scum. They're part of the trash. And it all needs to be taken out. That's why Trump would say, I'm going to drain the swamp. Yes, it's a swamp. All of D.C. is a swamp. And we don't know what was going on exactly in terms of this is what I want to say, is that a lot of people that listen to the alternative information believe that Trump is, how do I want to say it? They call it devolution. Yeah. Or they call it a color revolution was perpetrated against Trump. In fact, let me read this is something that Jack Posobiec. I hear this on some of these alternative channels. They talk about a devolution, a color revolution. The Clinton this is Jack Posobiec, his quote. The Clinton campaign, powerful Brookings Institute, and national security agencies colluded with major corporate-owned media to launch a color revolution against an opposition candidate and then sitting president of the United States. This is what they do in Eastern European countries. So this is what this isn't a good thing, actually. This is what we're facing. This is what the American people are facing. This is the other thing I want to read is some of the stuff that Glenn Greenwald said about how bad it is. It is bad, folks. Everything was a lie. Our institutions, our agencies, and our media can't be trusted. This is what Glenn Greenwald wrote. The vast majority of disinformation, propaganda, and lies that flooded the country over the last 5 years did not come from mega boomers on Facebook or 4chan teenagers, but the largest and most influential liberal corporate media outlet. It was all disinformation for five years. These are not cases where media outlets erred. They deliberately lied. The way to know that this is that they refuse to acknowledge evidence proving that they lied. In other words, they're not even conceding to the fact that they've lied. They've not retracted. They've not recanted. They have not clarified anything. They're ignoring it. Most of them. I think Rachel Maddow mentioned something about it, but she's still denigrating. They're not out. She's still denigrating. She's denigrating Durham. And she's the only one, I think, that has mentioned it. But there was all of them. And all of the institution. So in other words, NPR, PBS, CBS, NBC, ABC, MSNBC, CNN, Washington Post, it was all lies and $50 million that Mueller spent on this issue. And it was all a lie. And Mueller intentionally, this is the issue that you want to ask yourself. If this Igor, this Russian nationalist, he was the Russian nationalist he worked at the Brookings Institute. If he's sort of like a policy wonk or something like that. If he was lying to the FBI, he was the main source, Igor Dashchenko. He was the main source for the Steele dossier. In fact, the Washington Journal says that it shouldn't be called the Steele dossier. It should be called the Clinton dossier. She paid for it. That's a title so at least the Washington Journal is on top of it. But the right-wing media, and I hate that right-wing media, they were the only media outlets on top of it. The left-wing media, the legacy media, they all lied about this. And everything has emanated from this lie. Everything, it was a false premise. It was a false narrative. Everything that they've built is on sand. And it'll eventually collapse. We, the people, must stand up against this. And in fact, I think that they're having these walkouts because Biden is going to impose mandatory mandates. It's going to come out on January 4th with mandatory mandates against businesses that will be fined if they don't enforce the mandates through OSHA, if they don't abide by them. It's now the time. Listen, we, the people, must resist. We must be the resistance now. Remember when Trump first started, they were like, oh, we're the left were resistance against Trump. Now it's our turn to really be the resistance because all the evidence is very clear. Everything is a lie. You cannot believe it. Let me read a few more sections of what Glenn Greenwald said. He said, these are the world's most pompous, smug, self-righteous people. Isn't that true? That's the truth. They never stop lying, the guardians of democracy and truth. You see, everything that they say, that projection, that's psychology 101. Everything that they project onto Trump and conservatives, that's who they are. It's so evident. And they're smug. I say they're ignorantly arrogant or arrogantly ignorant. And they're so convinced, but they exist in this isolated bubble that they can't get out of. They can't accept they can't see the forest for the trees. But I believe more and more people are beginning to see things differently. Because how can you deny? But when they are caught lying with irrefutable evidence, when irrefutable evidence emerges debunking their lies, they ignore it. That's what they're ignoring, the fact that this whole Russian collusion. Hey, Trump was right. They're fake news. The whole Russian thing was fake news. Listen, this is the thing. This is the thing. Everything that the legacy media is saying and presenting, any narrative that they're pushing, flip it on its head. It's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. So in other words, they're pushing that we need to get vaccinated. Flip it. We don't need to get vaccinated. They're saying that the election was not stolen. Flip it. The election was stolen. You see? It is so obvious. You cannot trust our institution. And this is the other thing that they said, that Mueller this was an article. I have it in my show notes. That's another thing. When you go to my website, you can look at my show notes. Mueller was set up to not find, to not disclose, to not inform the people that the Clinton campaign, that this source, Igor Deshchenko, this source was lying, and he was giving the lie because he was giving lies because they didn't want people to know that the Clinton campaign was all around this, was the source for this dossier. And that Mueller intentionally, because you know that the FBI, it's like, why didn't Mueller find out what Durham is finding out? Are they so incompetent that they couldn't find out what Durham is now finding out? No, this was intentional. It was a setup from day one. And it cost us, they're literally and figuratively sucking the life out of the American citizen like vampires. They're vampires. The other thing I want to mention is this. I was looking at this before I drove into the station. It was because it's an amazing thing that I'm seeing about this concert, Travis Scott concert that is taking place. This is like amazing. Now, all these ideas are going around. I was looking at the how it's sort of like certain things I don't even want to say because it's so like, really, is this where we are? It's like unbelievable. It's like where we are right now. I don't even want to say the words. Because I don't even believe in these things. But it's like everything that I don't believe, because I believe in good and I believe in truth and I believe in honesty and integrity. That's my nature. And everything that we're dealing with is like the opposite of my nature. And it's so difficult for me to even mouth the words to what's going on. Like I saw a data point that said that 25% of millennials believe that they're LGBTQ. You see the influence that these folks are having on our culture, how they're denigrating our culture, that our culture is being destroyed, okay? We are at the bottom. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel. They have destroyed our culture. There's my music. When I come back, I'm going to talk about this Travis Scott business, and I'm going to talk about the lies that Biden has been telling about these illegal aliens. We'll be right back. This is the Naked Truth Report. I'll be right back.
Russia hates Russia, Putin, Russia's Russia, Moscow, Russian, pro-Russian, the Russians, Moscow, Russia, Putin, Russia against us, the Russians rush against the U.S., the Russian government scheme, the Russians, Vladimir Putin, Russia Russia. Vladimir Putin. Putin in Russia. Moscow. Russia. The Russians. Russian. Putin. Russia. The Soviet Empire. The second of the 20th century's great evils. Communism. Russia. Russia. Assault by Russia. Russia.
Putin despises the West in general and the United States in particular, the Soviet Empire. Russia. They're the adversary. They want to bring us down, the Soviet Union.
That was one show with Rachel Maddow. How many times she said she was obsessed with it for 4 years. Listen, these folks get paid millions of dollars to push propaganda. I think they're part of the CIA. They're part of the deep state. So let me talk about this Travis. This is what I want to say. These folks have negatively impacted our culture. And it's not 25%, it's 30% of millennials identify as LGBTQ. 30% of millennials identify that way. And the number was less than 9% in 2018. Yes, these folks are affecting our culture in a negative way, no doubt about it. So what I want to talk about is this Travis Scott. Let me see. I wanted to bring up something that I saw someone post. Hold on a second. I'm going to find it. But one of the things I can say right now is that the sheriff who was reporting on it said that one of the security officers was pricked in the back of, he got a needle prick in the back of his neck. And I also saw a report where Travis Scott has said at many of his concerts, he says to the concert goers to ram the stage or to get over the barriers and rush to the front or jump over the security barriers. This is very negative, is it not? You see, when I was growing up, when I was a teenager or whatever, and these are young folks, 8 have died. I think some of the folks have already started suing him. This is very, very, you see how they have degraded, is that the word, degraded? Oops, they have degraded our society. And this just didn't happen overnight. It's been going on, it took decades to get here. And it is the responsibility of us, because we are only governed by our consent. That is the basis, that is the modus operandi, that is the operating procedure for America, is that we are governed by our consent. So it is time now. In fact, they're having a walkout. The people are getting involved, and this is being organized by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. People are getting involved to protest these mandates. We're protesting everything. Because everything is a lie. We are protesting the fact that we've been lied to by our government, by our media, that we can't trust the FBI, we can't trust the CIA, we can't trust the Department of Justice. We don't trust them anymore. We don't believe it. We can't trust our media. Our institutions are corrupt. And it is now time to get out there and protest. Hey, listen, and we're afraid to be in crowds because of, look at what happened. This guy is getting pricked by a needle at the Travis concert. You're kind of like concerned that we must get out there and protest because we cannot allow our institutions we're going to lose America, folks. Chuck Todd was talking to Rick Scott. They keep trying to push these Republicans, and they were talking about this on Washington Journal. They keep trying to push these Republicans to deny that the election was stolen. First, I want to say this. Stacey Abrams still hasn't conceded that she lost the governor's race. She still hasn't conceded. Hillary Clinton kept the entire time that Trump was in office, people were saying, he's not my president. It was illegitimate. He won you heard it into Washington. Trump won because of the Russians. They would say this. And yet we have to accept that there was no shenanigans in the elections. We don't accept that because we listen to the hearings on One American News. We listen to all those hearings, and we know that we listen to Dr. Shiva. And we know that it was mathematically impossible for Biden to get 81 million votes. That's another thing. Biden's approval rating is down to 38% now. And Kamala Harris is down to 28%. He has no base, or he wouldn't be this far down. And once that vaccine mandate comes out on January 4th, the OSHA requirement that he's mandating the vaccine for businesses, he's going to sink lower. It's going to go lower. And more people will go off if it's not challenged by the Supreme Court, or if it's not stopped by the Supreme, if this rule from OSHA is not enjoined by the courts, if it goes into law, people are going to not go to work. They're going to lose more employees. Because they're not going to get vaccinated for a job. They're just not going to do it. Anyway, why don't I take a call now from, hi, Linda. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Are you waiting for Linda or Brent?
Oh, hi, Brent. Welcome to the... Hi, Brent. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Yeah, hi, Kathleen.
Hi.
Wow, you are just really tweaking the buzz tonight.
Am I really?
This is such a bummer.
What's the bummer?
All of it. It's, the catastrophe.
I know.
But I wanted to call in with some good news, and we're in the battle, and we're still fighting.
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to see you tomorrow and listening to Dr. Simone Gold at City Hall.
Yeah, she's going to be there?
Yes. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock in front of City Hall, everybody should be going down there and standing on behalf of our firefighters, our paramedics, our police, and really all city employees, if not every citizen in the damn state, for our liberty and freedom against these unconstitutional, just vicious mandates.
Yeah, it's time for us to do something like this. I'm glad that Robert Kennedy Jr. has organized this kind of thing, because it's a very good, it's what we need to do, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many things, but tomorrow, just specifically, if we could get, a really huge crowd down there, it'll be significant. And I wanted to bring up Dr. Simone Gold of America's Frontline Doctors. Mm-hmm. She's slated to speak, and I don't know if you've met her yet. And I sure hope you'll get her on your show.
Oh, yeah, I would love to have her on our show. I've never met her, but I'd love to have her on the show.
So if you can make it downtown, I'll introduce you to her. And I'm considering her the Queen Esther of America, or the potential Queen Esther of America. And I think she could be one of the most significant lady leaders in America. And she's just elegant, and she's beautiful and brilliant and wise. And she's just a full-grown grizzly bear. And a grizzly, a mama grizzly. Mm-hmm. And, if ever we could get her in front of Biden.
Oh, my God, that's not going to happen. Listen, this is a this is a plan. This is an intentional, deliberate effort by the globe. Biden isn't even in charge. Mm-hmm. This is an intentional, deliberate effort, a planned effort to undermine America. You see.
Yeah.
And the world, it's about power and control. It's not about the vaccine. It's not about your health. Because you see, remember when Joanne Reed and Kamala Harris, they would say that, we don't trust the vaccine.
Oh.
But now that Biden's in office, it's like it's the same vaccine.
Well, it's also very bizarre that they wouldn't have trusted it, and they probably knew more about it than even the President Trump, because I think President Trump went in on this full force, thinking he was doing a fabulous thing, and it was the inventor of the mRNA vaccine, Malone, thought he was doing a hell of a job too, and he's waving everybody off of the vaccine. So we know you're 100% right. This has nothing to do with medicine or safety, because we have plenty of medicine and we have plenty of safety if we take hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. But taking these poisonous jabs, this is something really sociopathic. And there's never going to be only one jab, because it's not about the jab. It's about the submission and the control. And just like what they're doing with you and the rent situation.
Can you believe that?
It's awful. I'm so sorry.
I know. I rely on my rent that I get for my tenant. He has been in this space since the last time he paid rent was December 2019.
Yeah.
Can you believe? I mean, he's in my space, sitting, smoking weed because I went by there. He's in there smoking weed. You know what? For 2 years, not working, and he's never there. I went by, but I didn't go by. I went by to inspect, and he wasn't there. He had his niece there. Mm-hmm. I've never met him.
It's obscene, and it's so...
But he's just smoking weed, not paying rent for 2 years, for 21 months, 2 years.
Well, our retail owners are expected to allow people to steal $900 a day from them.
And you see what's happening in San Francisco. Look at that.
Right, but the only reason I bring up all this is that it's, as you say, it's all part of a larger plan.
Right.
And it's designed to drive us crazy. This is how you drive people into schizophrenia.
Right, exactly.
You put them in continuous, unending, contradictory situations.
Right. Exactly.
And no-win situations. And so that's also probably why a lot of people literally, I mean, there's nothing funny about this.
It's not funny, but the way you say
suicide. There's
yes,
homicide.
Exactly.
And and a drive-by. It would be contributing to so many things, and child abuse, and so. But Dr. Simone Gold, she has that insight and that awareness of what's going on, and she's one of these irritating overachievers. She's a doctor, she's a lawyer, she's a mother, and it's like she could save the damn world.
But that's not going to happen. You see. Because she's going up against this. You see what they did to Trump. So they're not going to let a doctor get through and do anything, you see? But it's all of us. The masses of us must get together now and protest. Thanks for calling, Brett. Let me take a call now from, let's see, who do we go to? Linda. Hi, Linda. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Yeah, Kathleen, last Friday, I heard that all the servicemen, like in the Army... Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
I heard a ring, something like that. Navy Marines, I heard that if they want to, stay in there, they have to be vaccinated. Well, if not, if they won't get vaccinated, they'll get a dishonorable discharge and no pay leave at all, no veterans pay. Now, I'm worried if this can happen to veterans. This can happen to senior citizens with Social Security and Medicare, for example.
Oh, they're out to get us. No doubt about it. There's just so many inconsistencies. They're out to destroy us. And, what I said earlier about how I heard the report that only 20% of Americans have gotten the booster. And so now they're saying if we don't get the booster, there's going to be another wave. It's just nuts. They just want to stop.
Veterans sue big time.
Oh, everyone's suing, but we don't know how it's all going to play out. Listen, we can't trust our institutions, so we don't know how anything is going to play out anymore. And speaking of our institutions, Mike Lindell is going to file remember, he's going to file that case he's going to file a case with the Supreme Court. He's not filing it as a plaintiff. He's having attorney generals file it. And it's going to be November 23rd. But we don't know how anything is going to play out because what we have learned is that our institutions are corrupt. They can't be trusted. They're the enemy within.
They are.
And Trump was an outsider. That's why he couldn't get in. Because the inside is corrupt. And they're all in it together. It's just a big scam that they're playing on the American people. They all are like living like they're the elites. They're wealthy because of us. You see how you see how the Obamas have two homes now?
They want to make money off of that.
This is how you make money off the American people. This is how you live rich and live luxuriously. You see how Nancy Pelosi lives. This is the life. This is the life. This is the life. Live well, be wealthy off the American people. This has been going on for decades. There are very few, and they're all in on it. They're corrupt.
They are.
Yeah.
And any Republican who is going to run against Newsom in this upcoming governor election needs to be like the Republican that ran against, what's his face in Virginia. Needs to bring up stuff like Newsom is paid off by the California Teachers Union.
Yeah, but listen, I don't know. Yeah, but nothing matters anymore because everything's corrupt. If we don't get to the bottom of any of this, and this is the other thing I want to bring up, is is this the end? Dan Bongino seems to think that this may, he's cynical, and we all are sort of cynical. He seems to think that this will be the end, this indictment, Igor Dizhenko. This is the last one. This is sealing it, closing it. Oh, there was a lot. They lied. The FBI relied on this guy, and he was lying, and they were duped by him. But then others believe, I can't remember the man's name, believe that it's going to go further. The issue that I'm trying to say, will it touch the Clintons? Will it go to the higher ups? This is why these folks are never held accountable, because it's a game. Hillary should have been held accountable for deleting her emails. You see how it's a game that's being played against the American people. Okay, let me go to the next call. Hi, Angela. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Hey, Kathleen.
Hi.
A title for your show.
Uh-huh.
You said a shift in the paradigm. I think you should just call it a shifty paradigm.
A shifty paradigm. Or maybe Adam Shift Paradigm. You were saying that, right?
Yeah, that sounds good, too.
Adam Shifty.
And then I was going to ask, I don't know if you know this, but was D.C. built on a swamp? I mean, wasn't it a swamp before? So,
yeah, I think so.
So appropriate that all these creatures live there and they want to stay there,
right,
and keep everybody out.
Well, and they get wealthy off of the American people. If you want to get wealthy, go to D.C. Get involved with get in with the elites, and you'll have a luxurious, elitist life. I think they even said something like that. Well, someone said, well, they're the elite. They don't have to wear masks. Like, when Nancy Pelosi would have her shindigs and all that stuff, shindigs, those parties she would have, they don't have to wear their masks because they're the elite. I even heard that something like 20. So many. I think one doctor said he's given 200 congressmen ivermectin, but they tell us poor people, us poor pepsites or whatever, I can't remember. They tell us we can't get ivermectin, but the Congress people get ivermectin. They're frauds. We really should go down there with pitchforks.
And
it's another.
Did you hear what the CDC person said? It was on Levin's show, I think on Friday or Thursday or something.
Yeah.
That she was asked by someone in Congress or the Senate, one of those hearings places.
Right.
How many people have been injected? They of course use the V word. I'm not using that.
Right.
But how many people were injected? And she's in the CDC, and she said,
"All right.
I don't know."
Rochelle Walensky.
Yeah.
They don't even know him. Listen, because they just want to get us. We're the mere field hands.
You heard about the people coming across the border illegally?
Yeah.
And how they're going to get almost $500,000.
Right. And, initially Biden said, oh, no, that's garbage, when Peter Doocy asked him about it. And now he retracted that.
I know. Well, it's the American Civil Liberties Union representing these people, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So don't they get part of that money? So
yes.
It's like they're funding their own nonprofit.
Right. It's all everything's a sham. Everything's a scam. None of it's legit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's all dirty, dirty, dirty money. It's a garbage heap. It's horrible. And nothing is right. And people who still believe this stuff are brain dead.
I guess they need to take some truth syrup or something for their brain. That would help,
Okay, Angela. Go check out my website. I have a new blog post, thenakedtruthreport.com. Go check it out.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Okay, Mike, welcome to the Naked Truth Report. Hi. No, he's on. I see him. Oh, he hung up? Oh, he hung up? I don't think so. He was still on the line. Anyway, what I want to say now is, what do I want to talk? Let me read a few more excerpts from Glenn Greenwald. Where did I put that? I'm going to find it and read you a few other things that he said about it. What did I mention? Did I mention that, Kamala Harris is now at 28% approval rating? I mentioned that. Oh, and I also mentioned the Travis Scott thing. That's the thing I wanted to mention. This is sort of demonic. This is where our culture is right now. It's demonic. It's satanic. It's negative. It's negative, and it's worse than negative. It's demonic because people were being shot up. One of the security guards had someone stick him with a needle, and then he had something. He says, "They had some." Oh, Mike, you're back on. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Thank you so much. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you so much. I'll tell you, is pure evil what we've been witnessing over the last 3 or more years, with the Democrat Party purposely trying to destroy our economy, trying to destroy property rights, such as for landlords, for yourself, like yourself. There are many small landlords that's their retirement. That's all their life's work they put into a piece of property, maybe a duplex, triplex, a 4 or 8 unit apartment building. That's their retirement, and the Democrats are stealing it and letting people live rent-free to buy votes with other people's money and to destroy property rights to advance the communist Democrat agenda. It's truly evil. This whole economic shutdown, as you know, Kathleen, was totally unnecessary. All they had to do was protect the elderly people, like in nursing homes. Instead, the Democrat governors, like in New York, for example, Governor Cuomo, I believe also in New Jersey, I think it was in Maryland, maybe in California, they issued orders that, as you know, that patients infected with COVID-19 being released from hospitals had to be accepted and put in nursing homes where they then infect and killed off tens of thousands of older people who are the most vulnerable. I mean, everything is evil about this. It is just totally unbelievable. The Democrats are rushing for the finish line right now. They've thrown incrementalism aside. Instead of doing, step by step over time to achieve their final goal, they decided they want a bold, swift movement to grab all power all at once, and that's what's going on right now.
Well, everything's a lie.
That's right.
Everything's a lie.
It's faker than I ever imagined, and I knew it was extremely fake. I've been watching the fake news promoting gun control, the destruction of the Second Amendment, which is the cornerstone of our Bill of Rights and our liberty. Without the Second Amendment, all of our other rights are totally meaningless because there's no way to enforce them and protect them. And the Democrats know this. This is why they are both releasing criminals like crazy to increase violent crime and property crime. At the same time, they're trying to ban and confiscate firearms from the law-abiding Americans. They're trying to increase crime and suicides to use that as an excuse to take away the people's guns so that they can take away completely all our freedom. And it turns out during our Revolutionary War, you probably know this, Kathleen, but maybe not everyone listening knows this, the first shots were fired in the Revolutionary War when the British came to confiscate the Americans' firearms. And that was in Lexington and Concord. And that's what triggered the American Revolutionary War, because our American founders knew that once their firearms and weapons were confiscated, they would be totally at the mercy of King George III. They would have no means of resisting and protecting their liberty.
Well, it's all a lie. That's all I can say. I cannot believe we're in this situation. We're seeing this evolve with our own eyes. We're witnesses to this. And the American people it's time now for us to stand up. We've got to fight against this. We cannot just roll over and let it happen.
That's right. And by the way, I'm Jewish. Okay, my mother escaped from communist Russia. She and her family survived the pogroms, the mass murder, and even torture targeting Jews because they were Jewish by the communists. And my father-in-law survived and escaped from a communist torture prison in China. And he was actually born in California, went to live in China with relatives, and then the communist revolution started. He was thrown in a torture prison, and most of the prisoners were tortured to death. He was tortured but survived and escaped. The point is that my mother and my father-in-law believed that America was a safe refuge, a safe place.
Right. Well, it's not anymore.
Communism. And now we're seeing that the Democrat Party has become the largest, most powerful, most dangerous Marxist and communist party in this country.
Thank you. I got to go now, Mike. I got to go. Thank you. Yes, this is a Naked Truth Report. Thank you, Mike. This is a Naked Truth Report. Go to my website, check out my new blog post, and we'll be back next week. Thanks. Bye.